Tonight on To The Point, the Trump transition, a California Assembly Republican extending an olive branch.
I think there's a great opportunity for us to work with the federal government.
What he's asking the president-elect to do for California. Plus, a jewelry store robbery turned deadly. Tonight, the search for those involved.
Tracking the last bit of showers as we head into the weekend with frosty morning lows.
And later, weeks after chaos unfolded before a concert at Golden One Center, the head of security resigns. What we're learning tonight. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on To The Point. I'm Becca Hoppiger. Alex Bell has the night off. We start tonight with new election results coming into our newsroom just within the last hour. In the race for Sacramento Mayor, Dr. Flo Kofer continues to narrow the gap, as she has with every results update since election night. But Assemblymember Kevin McCarty remains in the lead with 51% of the vote. Kofer has 49% of the vote, with 2/3 of registered Sacramento voters' ballots counted as of today. A little more than 4,000 votes separate the two candidates, and it's unclear how many ballots are left to count. McCarty is not declaring victory at this point. Another batch of results will be released on Tuesday. And in the race for Congressional District 13, results show Republican incumbent John Duarte continues to lead with 51% of the vote. Democratic challenger Adam Gray has 49% of the vote. Now, this is a rematch of an extremely close race in 2022, where Duarte won by only 564 votes. The two candidates are currently separated by fewer than 2,000 votes. In a new letter addressed to President-elect Donald Trump, California Assembly Republican leader James Gallagher is asking for help to address issues California has been facing. This comes after Governor Gavin Newsom called a special session to, as he said, protect California values after Trump won the election. So ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen is here to explain what's in the letter and the governor's response.
Becca, that letter from Assemblymember James Gallagher asked for more support to help address wildfire issues, cost of living, and crime. But Governor Gavin Newsom announced today that the Biden administration has been helping California address those very issues.
I wanted to just reach out to the president-elect and let him know that we really want to work with him.
In a letter to Donald Trump, Assembly Republican leader James Gallagher asked for a partnership in addressing California's issues.
The president-elect has talked about water infrastructure and how important that is to California. We've had devastating droughts, floods.
With constituents in Paradise, Gallagher also wants support to tackle wildfires.
We need greater participation with the federal government on, clearing and trimming and doing the types of things that make our forests healthy and not subject to, a tinderbox waiting to go off in a fire.
But just this week, Governor Gavin Newsom traveled to the White House and praised the Biden administration for its support tackling those very issues.
He wanted to support our efforts on disaster recovery in Ventura, California, that was suffering from a major wildfire. And there was no conditions. He didn't ask me to change policy on water in order to support the American people in my home state.
On Friday, the governor announced the Biden administration has provided nearly $62 billion in funding to the state over the past 3 years, with $6.9 billion of that going towards water, climate, and the environment.
That's not the state of mind of Donald Trump. And it's not just rhetoric. It's not just threats. Those were actions by Donald Trump in the past.
Gallagher acknowledges the ongoing help, especially following the campfire in Paradise.
Biden administration, certainly there are things that they have been helpful on as well, and that's fine.
But he believes Newsom isn't doing the state any favors by preparing to fight Trump during his presidency.
Give him a chance and to work together and try and find ways to solve problems in this state.
Now, Gallagher tells me some of the key issues he'll ask for support from the Trump administration will be access to federal land to clear flammable material, more funding for law enforcement, and ways to bring down energy costs. Becca.
Jeannie, thank you. New tonight, President-elect Trump has announced Carolina Leavitt will serve as White House press secretary. It comes as there's more pushback tonight on Trump's cabinet picks. Now, city officials in Monterey, California today released a statement about the man who could soon oversee the Pentagon. They claim Pete Hegseth, whom Trump picked for Secretary of Defense, was part of an investigation into an alleged sexual assault at a hotel in 2017. No charges were filed. A source tells ABC News Trump's team was made aware of the investigation after he was nominated earlier this week. It comes as there is major debate in the House over whether to release the findings from a bipartisan investigation into former Congressman Matt Gaetz. He's Trump's pick for Attorney General. Today, House Speaker Mike Johnson says he does not think the committee's report should be released to the Senate.
I believe it is very important to maintain the House's tradition of not issuing ethics reports on people who are no longer members of Congress. I think it would open a Pandora's box.
Gates resigned from Congress this week after being nominated for Attorney General, automatically closing the bipartisan ethics committee's probe. He was being investigated for alleged sexual misconduct and illicit drug use. Allegations Gates denies. Sources tell ABC News the committee heard from a woman who said Gates had sex with her when she was 17. Gates calls it a, quote, false smear. Some of President-elect Trump's picks already have jobs in the government, so do they have to quit those in order to join the Trump White House? Our national reporter Casey Decker verifies.
Donald Trump was elected president last week, but he doesn't take office until late January. In the meantime, he needs to hire staff and nominate people to head up the major agencies. Some of the nominees so far: Florida Senator Marco Rubio, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, and South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. But if they take jobs in Trump's cabinet, do they have to resign from their current offices? Let's verify. Our sources: the Constitution, the National Conference of State Legislatures, and various state laws. The answer is yes. Elected officials will have to resign from their current jobs in order to join the Trump administration. The Constitution says you can't serve in two branches of government at the same time. Article 1, Section 6 says, quote, no senator or representative shall, during the time for which he was elected, be appointed to any civil office under the authority of the United States. This clause doesn't apply to state offices, but many states have their own similar laws on the books. As for who fills the vacancies once these folks resign, it depends on the job. The Constitution says that in the House, a special election has to be held to pick the replacement. Until then, the seat stays empty. 4 of Trump's nominees so far are sitting representatives, including Matt Gaetz, his pick for Attorney General, who's already resigned. This means Republicans could be without those votes in the House for months. In the Senate, most states allow their governor to pick a temporary replacement until an election can be held. For instance, Marco Rubio, the nominee for Secretary of State. Florida law says the governor, Ron DeSantis, would pick his interim replacement. And as for governors, most states simply elevate the lieutenant governor. That includes South Dakota, home of Kristi Noem, who Trump's nominated for Secretary of Homeland Security. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
And the To The Point team sat down with a political analyst to go over the Trump transition in 2025 and what it could mean for California. You can watch our conversation streaming now on ABC 10+. New tonight, the man convicted of killing Sacramento police officer Tara O'Sullivan has avoided the death penalty for now. Adel Ramos shot and killed Officer O'Sullivan back in 2019 as O'Sullivan was helping a woman escape a domestic violence situation involving Ramos. Today, a judge declared a mistrial in the sentencing of Ramos due to a hung jury. Jurors were split 11-1 on whether to sentence Ramos to death. Now, there is a moratorium on executions in California, but criminals can still be sentenced to death. The Sacramento County DA's office tells ABC 10 they'll now evaluate their next steps. They could retry for the death penalty or pursue a different sentence. The next court hearing is December 20th. Developing tonight in Sacramento, a woman has died after being shot during a robbery. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office says it happened around 11:45 this morning at the Kim Tin Jewelry Store along Stockton Boulevard. Deputies say they received reports of 4 to 6 men running into a store and taking items. They tell us a female employee was shot at some point during the robbery and later died at the hospital.
We do know the business owner fired toward the suspects. We don't know if the suspects were actually hit right now, but they departed in 2 vehicles. We're working on getting a little better description of those vehicles and the suspects.
The sheriff's office is asking anyone with information or video to give them or Crime Stoppers a call. Still ahead on To The Point, the head of Golden One Center Security resigns. Learn what we are learning tonight, just weeks after chaos unfolded before a concert.
I'm also tracking a few changes to our weekend forecast, including morning frost and a chance of showers returning.
Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods joins us. And Monica, you tell me it's going to be very chilly this weekend.
I know. The lows are going to be dropping into the 30s. We're talking about patchy frost and also a return to some showers. Now, the big headline here is that we're not going to have to deal with it through much of the daytime hours. It's going to hit a little bit later in the weekend. We're still leaving some of those showers in the forecast for tonight, at least the early evening hours, as that low departs. Is just kind of leaving in its wake a few scattered light showers, and then things will start to clear out for tonight. Our winter weather advisory remains until 10 o'clock tonight, and then we get into these frosty conditions. Freeze warning in effect just north of San Francisco with sub-freezing conditions overnight tonight. We won't drop that low for the valley forecast. Lows will be in the 30s Saturday and Sunday, and we'll get another pulse of those cold temperatures early Tuesday in the mid-30s. Tahoe lows, by the way, single digits to near 10 degrees. The valley lows will be in the 30s, cooler than average afternoon highs, and then Sunday shower chances return. So we dry out for the afternoon hours. Then we're going to watch this band of rain start to press our way. We're dry Sunday morning, but then we're bringing in that chance of showers during the evening hours. Quick mover, it's out of here before the morning commute. And then as we head towards the middle of the week into next weekend, we're going to open up that storm door once again with more showers in the forecast. Highs in the meantime over the weekend in the 30s and 40s for the Sierra. Tomorrow will be in the 50s for the foothills. So if you're headed up to Apple Hill, bundle up. 60s along the coast and for inland areas, but most notable are going to be those morning lows in the 30s throughout much of our regional forecast here, with afternoon highs warming into the upper 50s to lower 60s. Our 5-day outlook, well, we're going to bring in more showers overnight Sunday into early Monday, and again by Wednesday, that'll be true as well for the foothills and even along the coast. We're going to have some on and off showers in the outlook. Real interesting 3-day forecast, and one certainly to watch as we dig deeper closer to the holiday. We'll have those overnight showers Sunday into early Monday, and then next week, things start to get very active.
Monica, thank you so much. Next on To The Point, what we're learning tonight about the head of Golden One Center security resigning. Plus, the San Francisco staple in jeopardy. Why the iconic cable cars could be a thing of the past. New tonight, ABC 10 has exclusively learned that Daniel Hahn has resigned from his job at Golden One Center as Vice President of Security Operations. Now, Hahn is the former Sacramento police chief. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias has the story.
Becca, we learned Daniel Hahn resigned from his job here at the Golden One Center. Now, we want to be clear, we don't know why he resigned, but this comes just weeks after a concert crowd breached the doors at the arena while waiting in line for a Rod Wave concert. It's been almost a month since fans waiting for a Rod Wave concert stormed inside the Golden One Center and left employees traumatized.
For me, the most scary moments was when I heard on the radio that there were shots fired outside and not knowing where to go or what to do in that moment, and then seeing the people rushing in the building. And at one point being told to stay put, not to move.
An employee of Golden One Center didn't want to be identified for fear of losing their job. While there's still so many questions surrounding the security at the concert, ABC 10 has learned the Vice President of Security Operations, Daniel Hahn, has resigned.
I was made aware that he resigned maybe like around the 8th or around the beginning of the month that he resigned, but we weren't told officially anything yet, but it's definitely the hot topic going around.
The circumstances surrounding the resignation are not immediately clear, but sources tell ABC 10 the chief likely chose to leave due to undisclosed disagreements. Hahn, who served as the first black chief of police in both Roseville and Sacramento, has decades of law enforcement experience. I reached out to Daniel Hahn, but have not heard back. The Sacramento Kings do not have a comment on this. Now, we did hear from that employee that they will have a security training next week. That employee is hoping that they go over some type of active shooter situation or in case of any evacuations. In Sacramento, Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
The iconic cable cars in San Francisco could soon be a thing of the past. That's because the city's transportation service is facing a looming budget deficit of $300 million by the 2026-27 fiscal year. Now, in order to close the gaps, everything is on the table for possible cuts, including 3 cable car lines and the F-Market streetcars. The Municipal Transportation Agency leader says the failure of Prop L, which could have generated $25 million for transit, and the Trump administration could make identifying new revenue sources more challenging. The Transportation Authority is collaborating with the entire region to help close the budget gap and find new funding sources. Well, it's time for another trip on the back roads. Tonight, John Bartel heads to Solano County to check out one of California's largest gatherings of hunters.
As migrating waterfowl make their way into the Sacramento Valley in the fall, a line of cars start forming on Grizzly Island in Solano County. That line of vehicles spans several hundred yards, and they're all here for one thing: opening day of duck hunting season.
Can't kill them on the couch is what they say.
Grizzly Island Wildlife Area is one of California's largest and most popular duck hunting areas. So popular that many hunters, like Duckline Don as he's known, show up days before the duck hunting season starts, just so he can secure a permit and be the first one inside the wildlife area.
Real good place to hunt. I don't want a lot of people knowing about it. So,
well, I think the secret's out. I mean,
well, I know a lot of people know about it now, but it's just you want to just keep it like a low pro on it.
Very few hunting areas in the state have this much demand, and being among the first in line on opening day of duck hunting season has become a long-standing tradition for many of these hunters.
I think that tradition people can't miss out on. You know, no matter if they knew they had a better hunting spot to go to, they like the whole concept of a couple days of hanging out.
Once you are in line, there's not much to do except catch some sleep or maybe enjoy an adult beverage or two.
This is you
it's 5 o'clock
drink a little beer, you know.
Much of the island's wetlands are managed by the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, or CDFW, and they only issue 350 permits.
That's sweat line. And we call it sweat line because you're sweating if you're going to get in or not opening day.
Okay. Matt Mooney's been hunting this area for 57 years in a row, and he's learned to get here early and get here in style.
I notice there's a lot of different sleeping arrangements out
Right.
here. It seems like you've got yours down pretty good.
I'm in the Taj Mahal, you know?
Yeah.
On the other side of the permit checkpoint, Grizzly Island Wildlife Area Manager Randy Weinrich took me out to one of the duck blinds where hunters will be setting up.
In our total Grizzly Island Wildlife Area, it's just over 14,000 acres, and it's comprised of 9 different units.
Randy says the food-filled wetlands on Grizzly Island is just a stopping point for millions of migratory birds on the Pacific Flyway.
So roughly you could see up to 12 different species of ducks out here on any given day.
The waterfowl are on their way from Canada to Mexico, and Grizzly Island gets a little crowded, which is not necessarily a good thing for birds.
Sick birds can come into that area, and just being that ducks are such a tight-knit group and they stay in large groups all together, that disease can spread rapidly. So it would cause just mass die-offs. We do see that every so often. With botulism or cholera outbreaks. It affects a lot of our region and a lot of our wildlife areas.
Diseases like avian flu can be a real problem in dense bird populations, and because humans have forced wildlife into confined spaces, natural predators like coyotes have a hard time managing the bird population all by themselves.
So to help prevent disease, starvation, just massive die-offs, we implement a hunting program to help kind of mitigate that.
Hunters not only help manage the bird population, but the licenses they buy help pay for restoration and enhancement projects.
What kind of duck are we looking for?
Mallard, teals, snooties, and probably woodies.
Regardless of your stance on hunting, at its core, this sport is about enjoying everything nature has to offer, whether you come home with a bird or not. How's it go?
Bad day of hunting beats a good day at work.
Yeah. Yes, sir. From opening day of duck season on Grizzly Island, I'm John Bartell. Hope to see you on the back roads.
Got something in your town that would be a great road trip destination? Let John know all about it by texting your idea to 916-321-3310. Stay with us. We're a heads up before we go tonight. The Rio Vista Bridge closes at 9 tonight and will stay closed until 4 a.m. Monday. This is so Caltrans can do pavement work. The closure of the bridge effectively blocks access from Rio Vista to the valley and the rest of the Delta. If you have something you think we should be looking into, send the team an email at tothepoint@abc10.com. And To The Point doesn't end here. To watch stories featured on the show, download our free ABC 10 Plus app. Have a good night.
Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To The Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To The Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. We can't mention base sports without talking about the Oakland A's. We have that too. What's super exciting, I know you care about high school sports. You'll never find a more comprehensive guide and team dedicated to high school sports. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look, it's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California. Tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To The Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC 10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.